So we're going to cover how to optimize Airbnb. The first one is, very, very self-explanatory. You have to use professional pictures. I don't care how good you think you are at taking pictures or, which iPhone you have or whatever. Like you just have to get a professional photographer in there because it just looks far, far better. And people are more likely to book your property if it looks better. See, now you got to keep in mind that internally on Airbnb Booking.com, they will have scores in terms of how many people are clicking this listing. And the more people that click a listing, that means obviously more people are interested in that property and you will go higher up. They will internally have those sort of algorithms. So if you have a bad picture up front or an unprofessional picture like low light with your iPhone, not many people are going to click through to your profile. You want to make sure as many people as possible click through to your profile, which indicates to Airbnb that a lot of people are interested in this listing. So you have to use professional pictures. I'm not going to go on about it, but you just have to do it. The second one is sell the location. So nearby attractions, places of employment, restaurants, shops, etc., etc. I had a property in Kilburn, in London. I think it's pretty safe to say not many people know where Kilburn is. Like even if you're from London, you might not know exactly where Kilburn is. If you're from outside of London, you have no idea where Kilburn is. If you're outside the country, no chance on earth you know where Kilburn is, right? It's sort of getting further and further apart. So with Kilburn is still Zone 2. It's pretty close to the centre of London, it's Zone 2. So what I did was, I got the picture of all the big places like British Museum down the road, Oxford Street, so on and so on. And I put all those pictures at the end of the listing and I wrote down in the caption how far they were from the property. So I said Oxford Street, 2 stops away. British Museum, 3 stops away. Because if someone doesn't know the area too well and they look at your listing and they say, well, everything I want to go to is only 2 or 3 stops away, that sells the location a lot more than someone not knowing where the hell this is or how far it is. So for example, if you're in a small town and there's a business park nearby, there's an arcade, leisure center nearby, so on and so on, you take a picture of all those sort of things. The nearest supermarket, Tesco, Asda. You take a picture of that and you say the supermarket is 100 yards away. Because then they're like, well, okay, if I need something during the night or whatever, I can just go down to the shop. It just sells the location a lot more than simply just having pictures of the apartment because that's just selling the apartment. So, and you have unlimited pictures, so you might as well do both. You might as well sell the apartment and you might as well sell the location as well because you might get some bookings here and there. So you got to sell the location. And then, for example, look, one of the things you can do is, obviously, someone has a nice view to London, and the caption says, a view from the rooftop of our building. That sells a location. It's a view, sells a location. So you got to do the same thing. If you have a good view from outside the window or from the rooftop or from the balcony, then that should be in your pictures because people might book it for that reason. I feel a lot of people will book this apartment just for this. The apartment might not be amazing, but a lot of people might book just for this because they'll get some amazing pictures, it's got an amazing view, so on and so on, especially in the summers. I feel like people will book it just for this. So something to keep in mind. Amenities. So you can filter by amenities, and the more amenities you offer, the higher your listing goes. Because see, when people are filtering their search on Airbnb, they can filter by amenities. Does it have free Wi-Fi? Does it have X, Y, and Z? And obviously the more you have, the more search rankings you're going to appear in. And the more people which are then going to click on your profile and the higher up you're going to go. My tip with parking, a lot of apartments, city center apartments don't have parking, which is not a massive issue. As in, for example, I've taken a lot of rent-to-rent deals which have no parking, 2-bedroom apartments, so on and so on. But see, especially with, so this is what happens. Let's say this is the apartment building, right? This is the apartment building. In most areas, especially in the city centers, you have council car parks all over the place. And with council car parks, you can buy season passes. 1 month, 3 month, whatever. You can buy season passes. So a company goes to me, for example, like, we need a 2-bedroom apartment, but it has to have parking. I don't have parking, but I know there's 3 council car parks. You can buy 1 pass and you get access to all the car parks in that particular zone. So you can do this in any area. You can do this in London. Obviously, it's more expensive in London compared to like Hertfordshire and stuff, but parking is not a major issue. But obviously, if you get that pass, you can offer your apartment with parking. Not many apartments have parking. So anyone who searches, I need an apartment with parking, you're going to be one of the few which shows up. And if you're one of the few which shows up, you're more likely to get bookings. So that's something you should consider doing on Airbnb. Turn on instant booking. See, here's something you've got to realize when it comes to optimizing your listing on Airbnb, which is Airbnb favors things which make them money. And if it makes them money, they will put you higher up. Because, for example, you don't pay to list on Airbnb. Listing on Airbnb is free, right? You pay commission, but you don't put money to list a property on Airbnb. So if you think about it from their business model, they want to showcase the properties which make them money, they're going to put higher up because that's what generates them money, not the ones which don't make any money. So you already have to think about it from the point of view that what is going to benefit Airbnb as well. If you think about something like Instant Book, I think we can all agree if you turn on Instant Booking, you will get more bookings purely because you will get the people who want to inquire and you will get the people who just want to book, right? Whereas if you do inquiry only, now you can only take the people who are happy inquiring. Anyone who wants to do instantly, they can't because you don't have that option. So from Airbnb's point of view, if you have two segments, you're restricting one of the segments because no one can book instantly. So if you turn on instant booking, you end up getting more bookings because you're opening this up to both type of customers. You get more bookings, therefore Airbnb makes more commission and they make more money. So you already have to think about from the point of view that is this going to make Airbnb money or is it not going to make Airbnb money? Because if it doesn't make the money, you're going to go down in the rankings. If it makes the money, you're going to go higher up in the rankings. So you have to turn on instant book from that point of view. You can choose to leave it off if you want, but I'm just saying from a pure optimization point of view, you have to turn on instant booking. Minimum night restrictions. Again, the more restrictions you impose, that means less people can book. If you have a 2-night minimum, anyone who wants to book 1 night, therefore can't book. So therefore there's a restriction. So now you've restricted the number of bookings and you will go down in the rankings. I'm not recommending you should have no restrictions. I have a 2-night restriction, which isn't that bad. But what I'm saying is once you start getting to 3 nights, 4 nights, 5-night restrictions, you're restricting a lot of people. And of course you're going to go down in the rankings because you're not going to get that many bookings. One tip you can use is if you do decide to do 1-night bookings. For example, this now you can do in Airbnb, Booking.com, anything. For example, let's say you want to be really flexible, but you don't necessarily want the 1-night bookings because it's not really worth the hassle and the overhead, so on and so on. You can massively raise the price for 1 night. So if someone just books 1 night, they got to pay like not £100, but £150. But if anyone books 2 nights, it drops back down to like the normal level. You can internally do that because on Airbnb there's length of stay discounts. So if you book for 2 nights, it basically you would just set it up so 2 nights just means the normal rate and so on. But the first night will be like higher. So for example, it's like you can have it in the sense that if someone books 1 night, that's supposed to say 1, oh God, 1 night, it could be something like £150. But if someone booked 2 nights, it could just be £200, i.e. £100 a night. So you're basically trying to incentivize people to stay for longer. The benefit of this strategy is that on their system, there's no restrictions because you're allowing people to book for 1 night. It's just the price is high. So that's something you can do, or you can just go with a simple approach, have a 2-night minimum, either one. Yeah, so that's pretty much it on Airbnb. Those are the small things you can do. Now, of course, you can make the title better, you can make the description better, so on and so on. You can make the pictures better. But purely from there's one more, by the way, I'm missing. I knew there was missing one more. Cancellation policies. Again, on Airbnb, there's 3 different types of cancellation policies. The first one is flexible, then is moderate, and then is strict. Again, from Airbnb's point of view, which one do you reckon is going to make them the most money? The flexible. So if you're flexible, more people are going to book, the higher up you're going to go. The problem with flexible is that if someone cancels, you've got a bit of an issue. Right? You've got a bit of an issue. So Again,
flexible is 20 day before.
Yeah, flexible the day before they can cancel. So I'm not recommending flexible. I'm just saying from an optimization point of view, flexible is the way to go. I would probably stick in this range here, moderate to strict. But one of the things I would say though, is when you have a new listing and you don't have many reviews, go to flexible just to build some momentum, get some bookings, get some reviews, and then change to one of those. If you have no reviews and you go to strict on day one, and and from the customer's point of view, the property has no reviews, they might be less trusting of that particular listing, right? So that's what I would recommend from Airbnb optimization point of view. Just keep in mind whatever you do, is this going to make them more money or is it going to make them less money? And you sort of get from there. Of course, you can tweak your title, you can tweak your descriptions, you can make the pictures better, all those sort of things, which does help. But these are purely from let's just say the logistics point of view, or like the maths point of view, right? Who's to say one's title is better than another? No one already has like data on what title is better, but there is data on this. That, for example, if you have no restrictions, you will get more bookings than someone who does have restrictions. But who's to say one description is better than the other? Of course, make sure it's complete and it's filled out properly and so on and so on. It's easy to read. Obviously, everyone knows that. But this will help you get more bookings, 100%.
Does how far forward your calendar is open also affect?
Yes, availability also helps. I'll touch upon this in how to optimize booking.com, but absolutely right. If your calendar is only open for the next month, then no one else can book beyond that month. So that's another thing to note on Airbnb, which will be in booking.com as well, that if you have no availability or you only have limited availability, then not that many people can book. And again, if they can't book, you're going to go lower down in the rankings. That's a bit more prevalent in booking.com, you'll see in a second. But yeah, 100% that makes a difference. Opening up your calendars. I'll just write that down. Open calendars.
Your response time to queries, because from what I've seen on our one,
yes,
Airbnb have a minimum requirement to reach whatever level it is.
Yes.
And if you don't meet their metrics, they will basically say you're lacking in this department because your response time
yes.
is 89 opposed to 92%, whatever it is.
So, by the way, something weird has happened here in the sense that I've lost 4 slides. Because these things were in my slides. Now that you've said it, I'm like, yeah, that was in a slide. Because I remember taking a picture of it, but you're absolutely right. Response time. So if you take a long time to respond, then Airbnb doesn't like that. One, you have to respond, and second, you have to respond fast. Because if you take forever to respond, it shows the response time, right? If that's like 4 or 5 hours, Airbnb doesn't like it because you're not replying to people fast, and therefore you're losing bookings. And so absolutely right. The faster the response time, the more bookings you get. And the more you respond to people, the more bookings you get because of the way it works. Absolutely right. So response time, yours was availability. There was one more we said, or did we not? I think we might come on to here anyway.